He is hot today. Get this baby rolling. There we go. Got it. Okay. Morning. morning. Not much for sports going on other than basketball, which we don't really talk about on here, but lots of other stuff going on. Pro Bowl started yesterday. We got the big Flames trade was awesome. Got some big news in Riderville. Me and Tyson are very excited for. It's not all bad. Riders made a move yesterday we were hoping for, so very exciting for us. And sounds like there's more moves on the horizon, so maybe the Riders are slowly moving in the right direction. We'll find out. Big moves in the NFL. My guy, Mike McDonald, is gone. He is the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Hurts me, but congratulations to him. And I love our replacement. Zach Orr was one of my favorite players in his short little career that he had before he sadly got injured. And he's a player's coach, so I'm excited to have him running with the group. Should be good. Ravens should be all right. They don't have a ton of free agency issues going into next year. They're going to have basically their same core, so see if they can't coach them a little better come playoff time and run the ball. Super Bowl, I don't know. Chiefs versus Niners. Pretty upset that the biggest headline of all this is will Taylor Swift make it there for the game. Frustrates me. I do not like anything about it. I just want to watch football. I want to read about the guys and their backstories and all this. I really don't care about some pop star. That should be on some music site, in my humble opinion. But if that's what the fan base wants, that's what they're going to get. Just not for me. It's just not for me. Yeah. I don't think there was anything. I think hockey's off right now. Football's done. Other than trades and in preview for the Super Bowl, there's nothing. There's golf and basketball. So not a lot to go through there, which is all right. Tyson will be on here in a minute or so. He can talk stupid and we can listen. That's all he does. That's all he does. Just stupid. And that's okay. Right. I am very, very happy with the old Flames trade. Looking at it now, for a guy like Lindholm, who was never going to re-sign at the end of this year anyways, we end up with a first round and a player and a potential player down the road and a fourth. Loved it. Hey, Tyson.
Good morning. How's she going, man?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. Life couldn't get any better, man.
Right. There we go. I like
After yesterday's news, it could not get better.
it. Tyson is happy.
I am very happy. I
Yeah,
am
I
very
am
happy.
too. I
Our,
am too, man.
it has come. My dream has come true. The Riders have re-signed Sean Bain.
We
So
asked for it. We asked for it yesterday on the show, so
we
maybe we
asked
should
for it.
ask for some more. I don't know.
Well, that was my one thing that I wanted for the Riders. I want more, of course, but it wouldn't have been the same without Sean in Riderville for me.
No, yeah, I totally agree. Would have been a different team. Again, would have felt like a complete rebuild, and that's just not where I want to be.
No, no, and I talked to him yesterday afternoon a little bit, and
Yep.
he's super stoked to be coming back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think everybody is excited to have him back. All of Riderville, I think, was very excited. Finally, yesterday, there hasn't been a lot to be excited about, so I think that was a very big thing for the Riders.
absolutely, and it also came out, and you mentioned this I think it was a week or so ago that you had mentioned that you'd like to see William Stanback in
Yeah, I'd
Rider.
like to see him given a shot here. I don't know if it will happen, but it looks like they're in talks.
Yes, they are supposedly one of the teams heavily interested. I personally would sooner see Willette or Oliveira, but I don't know.
Well, they're both
Um,
younger. I would rather see them myself. I just don't think Jeremy O'Day has the balls to actually go and get someone like that. So I think we have a better chance of getting Steinbeck because of who we have in charge.
yeah, it depends of what their game plan is really like because there is a lot. I've been going through Three Down Nation daily and looking at the offensive linemen, the defensive linemen, the linebackers, and I mean we have a lot of damn holes. We have more
Oh
holes.
man, we need to. We got like 20 spots to fill. It's absurd. We have a lot to fill.
Yeah, the one position where we were solid was receiver, and that is
Yep.
pretty much solidified now. I believe.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, defensive line, like man, we need some work.
Yeah,
I
and
would
we'll
like.
we'll find guys in the coming weeks. We'll be signing lots of guys. There's no doubt.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I want to like Pete Robertson. I actually think it's time to move on from him.
Yep. Yeah, he
That
didn't have a
bonehead
good year
play.
last year.
Well, no, that bonehead play against Winnipeg where he headbutted Kalaros, like that did it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind him headbutting Caleros, but don't get caught, man. My God. Like Jesus, come on, don't get caught.
Oh,
One
and
thing that did upset me, I read it yesterday, is I mean, everyone had their speculation, but with the whole signing of Mason Fine and Jake Dalagala, there was no difference in money whatsoever there. They
uh-huh.
both wanted the exact same amount, and Mueller chose Fine over Dalagala, and
Really? What
and
the
that is
hell was
super
he?
frustrating to me.
What was he watching all year? Because Mason
He
Feinhardt
said
played.
Fine in the report of his interview. He said Fine is more on pace with the game I'm trying to run. And I'm like, oh, good. I can't wait to see the game you're trying to run because I saw what Fine did, and so yeah, it was nothing to do with money at all. Yeah, it had
I
everything to
gotta.
do with those two. He got to pick between the two.
So
So
I really believe there's a little bit more to that he's not saying. I think because I read a bit of an article on Three Down Nation, and it's because according to them that Gala with Trevor Harris here doesn't have really any chance of starting.
see, and I think that's completely false because I don't think anybody believes Trevor Harris is going to last more than 3 weeks. I'm
Really?
a firm believer in that. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I think he's going to last all year this
I
year.
don't think so. No,
We're
with his,
gonna
I mean, he's a year older. He's now the oldest quarterback in the league by quite a bit, if I do remember.
38. He was 38. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I heard
and
he was hanging out at the local paintball place and people were just shooting at him and he's just taking it like he just
you
pulled
know
it.
what?
Hulk
You can
Hogan.
take you can Happy Gilmore the shit out of yourself and have a baseball coming at you 100 mile an hour. When you run and turn and you twist your ankle when you're 60 years old, it's totally different. Yeah, no, I have zero faith in Trevor Harris being our guy. Not that I don't think he's good enough. I'd put money on it. He won't make it past the half season mark. So
Oh,
I just
I
think
hope
that's
you're
another
wrong.
scapegoat. Yeah, I hope I'm wrong too, but it's a horrible decision to be running with a guy that old as your quarterback. I mean, look at the NFL. Look at it. Look what's going on. Aaron Rodgers, oldest guy, out. Kirk Cousins, one of the older guys, out. Injuries. This
Yeah.
is they're not. It's not like it used to be. Guys are getting after the quarterback. They're not protected. The days of Tom Brady lasting forever are gone. He never got hit. He wasn't allowed to be hit. The league didn't let him be hit. Um, these guys take hits, and it is not. And I mean, they're being evaluated for things immediately. It's not like where they played through things back in the day. Ben Roethlisberger played through broken bones and all sorts of shit.
Well,
They
he
just
was
put
a
him back
tough
out there.
linebacker though,
And
basically.
yeah, and I just man, I think that decision between Fine and Dolegala is going to be one we're going to come back to regret because now we do not have a backup.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
here's my thing about it. They need to find the next guy. I did not feel that
Mark
either
Mueller
Dolga
said they are not looking.
really. I
No,
think
he
they
said
have
we've
to.
got four guys. We signed Pickett for a reason. I like Fine. I think Trevor Harris is going to have a breakout season, and then they have that other kid. Um,
Well, we got Pipkin. That's who you're talking about.
yeah, well, no, there's another guy. Pipkin is just our short yardage, he said.
Yeah, but he can play. I've seen Pip can play. He can play.
You know he's got the worst throwing statistics in the history of the CFL, though, right?
Well, he
The
might,
very,
but
the very worst. Like you go back in all of history, he has the worst throwing percentage in the history of the CFL. The
really,
history, yeah, it's unbelievable. Google it. It's crazy to blow your
he's
mind.
gonna lead
It's
us to
like
victory this year.
30% completion percentage. Like it's the worst thing you've ever seen.
He's
Yeah.
definitely leading us this year. Then.
So we have the very worst in the history of the CFL throwing percentage. And he'll be just short yardage, I hope at least. Good God, don't give him a chance. And then we're missing a kid. There's a young kid that Mueller thinks is the real deal, and he's on our roster as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
Well, you
just a
need
real
that
bad
kid to you
situation.
need that kid to be there. Like, but he has to be the third string. Your
Yeah, I
future
believe that I
being
believe
third.
he's practice only. He'll be fourth this year because I
Yeah,
believe
I
how
don't
it's
like.
going to work is it's going to be starter, backup, and then Pipkin as your short yardage. I
Yeah.
believe is how that's going to rock. Yeah,
So it'll be interesting to see where Dolegala goes. Like, I think he's going to Calgary myself. That makes sense.
I would say
Um,
he would go to
but
Calgary.
I
Yeah,
was not sold on either of those guys. Like, I know I didn't like Fine, but I didn't like Dolegala either. So I'm okay to move on from both of them,
yeah.
to be quite honest.
Dolegala, I mean, he balled out when he had to, and he had no help. So I was a firm believer in a guy that everyone cast away before the season. Coaches didn't like, and he still went in there, and he wasn't afraid to throw the ball. And it seems like Ryder quarterbacks get feet happy, and that's my least favorite thing.
Wow,
Um,
because we've had a shitty old line for decades.
but he wasn't afraid to throw it. Dolegala
No,
took hits. He tossed it down the field. He'd throw an interception. He didn't give a shit. And that's kind
no,
of the guy I want to roll with. I don't
yeah.
want a guy like, I mean, I watched Mason Fine's 2 or 3 games. All he did was he was basically the second coming of holy shit, who was that Baru
Elon Green.
quarterback? The quarterback we had, the Italian guy, all he did was get back there, he'd shake, 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 and then get crushed. Tino Sanseri. He's the next Tino Sanseri, man. So God bless us all. I hope Trevor Harris stays healthy because holy shit.
I
If
gotta
that's what we
believe
got to
Corey
do,
Mace is going to bring in one of his Toronto guys who are a free agent. The Toronto backup is a free agent as
maybe.
well.
Man, there
'Cause-
was quarterbacks available this year, though. The fact we didn't move on anything is absolutely disappointing. Um,
yeah,
Ford, Brown, what's his face coming back up.
yeah.
Ended up
Stravler, you
playing.
knew was going to Winnipeg, but
Yeah, Strebler I wasn't
Degrom.
worried about. It's the other guy, Bethel Thompson coming back.
Oh yeah,
I don't give a shit about Strebler. Strebler's a runner. He's not a throwing quarterback.
yeah.
Um,
I don't think you want Bethel Thompson and Harris. That's too big of money for
no,
both.
I'm saying you just move on from one. Honestly, I don't know. I
Really?
mean, yeah, I don't know what to say. Like we have the oldest quarterback and the second highest paid. It's like, and he's never proven anything. So
But he
it's
did
rough.
restructure, so he did
Yes, he
restructure.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. We gotta, in my opinion, like I said, find the next guy, and the draft is ahead of us. And man, I think you take that Rourke kid if you can.
Yeah, see, the question with the Rourke kid is if his brother went down south and went that route and is willing to just live on a practice roster and die, that's a scary one. It's in the
It is,
family,
but
right? It's
to me,
terrifying.
it's worth the risk to take that pick to have him.
Yeah, if it works out.
Yeah, and I mean, we could still see Nathan back in the CFL. To be quite honest.
I'd love to. I mean, I wouldn't come back if I was him. I'd keep making 500,000 on a practice roster than 150 playing, but I don't know. That's up to him to decide if he's got the fire in his belly and wants
Yeah,
to play.
we'll see if he stays on the practice roster or not. That's the thing, right? Like Strevler was on there too, and he
Yep.
got into a few games, but it seems like he just bounced around down there for
But
time.
Strebler in 3 seasons made more than he'll make in his entire career,
Oh, for
just
sure.
bouncing around on practice rosters. So,
Yeah.
and then you come back and your career's already over. If you
Yes,
miss
I
three
agree.
years, it's toast. So, I mean, that's what I mean. I mean, I would do it for the finances. My God, I'm okay
I
with that.
think
It's gonna
I
set me
do
up.
believe we're going to be built from the defense. We're going to have a good defense. Like
Oh yeah, we are. Corey Mace will make sure we're gonna have a good defense.
we
That's
got
his thing.
Yeah, we got some good defensive backs. I think the linebacking core is going to get overhauled a little bit. Like I don't
Yep.
see Micah Tights maybe coming back at all. For some reason, I didn't
Yeah,
mind
I
Micah Tights.
agree with that. I don't mind him, but I can't see him coming back. I mean, he didn't have a breakout season. You know, anybody that didn't have a breakout season or wasn't a star or on the stat sheet, get rid of him.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
we didn't. There was nothing to prove last year. We proved nothing. We did nothing. A complete overall, I'm all on board. And our defense is going to have to be awesome because I have a feeling that offensive line and quarterback situation ain't going to be the prettiest. So, because you can't have a good run game if you don't have an offensive line, and we don't have an offensive line right now. And you can't
No,
have a good run game if you don't have a quarterback that can get it to your amazing receivers. We got the receivers, but we need a
I
quarterback that can stay upright. And right now, with that offensive line, I have no faith in Trevor Harris.
I think
We have to build a line to keep him protected. Why do you think those guys lasted so long down in the NFL? Their offensive line never changed. They had the same guard, same center, same this, same that for like 15 years. And that's what builds the safety net.
the Riders truly will grab 2, 3 offensive linemen in free agency this
I
year.
hope so. I really hope so. Get back to their roots. Protect the
Yeah.
quarterback. Get after the other quarterback. The rest will fall into place.
I mean, realistically, we got Godber at center. He's a good center.
I
He
like
was
him.
free agency last
I
year.
like him.
Right tackle, I'm trying to think. Colin Kelly, he'll be a free agent. I didn't care for him that much.
Me neither. I didn't either. He had a
Um,
lot of pressures on his side, I'll be honest.
yeah,
Actually, they all did. That's mean. That's not fair. They all did.
yeah. So I do believe we re-signed Blake. I don't know if that's
Yep.
a debt.
I think we would. Yep.
Yeah, he did resign actually.
He did?
Blake. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I assumed that was going to happen. I missed that one, but yeah, that's good.
And so I don't know where, I think we got a couple spots open yet, and I think they'll fill them in free agency. I truly believe.
Yeah. Well, they haven't
to
signed
be.
anybody. We haven't done anything. It's got to be a
Yeah.
lot of free agency going on.
Well,
And
free
you win
agency
and lose in the trenches, and our
Yeah.
trenches are dog shit. So
free agency hasn't technically opened yet. Next week it opens for the tampering period where you're allowed to talk, and then the week after. So we can only sign our own guys, and we didn't have really a lot of good linemen free agents, to be quite honest. So
no, I mean all around other than wide receivers, we didn't have anything that anybody really cared to keep around. Let's be honest, there really wasn't much of anything.
And that's the same with the defensive line too. Like we did have some good defensive backs, I thought.
Yep, I didn't mind that.
CJ Revis loved the signing.
Yep.
But the only guy actually I'd like to see come back would be that Christmas. I didn't mind him in the middle, and he's
a big brute. When his motor was moving, it was moving, and I think sometimes these players just need a better motivator on the sidelines. I believe certain guys play better. I mean, we saw it in the NFL this year. Jadeveon Clowney came to the Ravens on like less than a rookie contract, the lowest you can possibly pay a veteran. Yeah. And he led the entire NFL in quarterback pressures at age like 35 years old. And they said, you didn't do this in your rookie year and in this and that and that. And he said, you've never played for Mike McDonald. He said, that man was able to get us out before every game. He's like, why do you think our defense finished first place in almost every statistic this year? There were lots of guys in this team that at the start of the year, you had us like ranked 80th out of our position and whatnot. And all of us finished in top 5, top 10. He said, you get a coach that can make you believe in yourself and in the system and show you and do this and actually physically and mentally motivate you before every game. Yeah. He's like, all I can say is Seattle got himself one. And he said, like, that's crazy. And what he did to his career, and he was mentioning other guys' careers on the team. He said we owe him gratitude, a favor. And they loved the new signing yesterday, which I did too. That was the only guy there was 4 guys in the running, but when the Ravens announced who they signed for their defensive coordinator, I almost jumped out of my chair because he was my favorite player. He was my favorite player for those 4 years before his neck injury.
I can't believe you're steering away from Ray.
Well, Ray didn't play. Ray had already retired.
I'm just bugging you.
So, there was nobody left. After that. That was when the Ray Rice went out. I liked Ray Rice, but he kicked his girlfriend in the chest, so she was gone. Torrey Smith moved away. Ed Reed and Ray Lewis both retired. That was when C.J. Mosley came on the scene.
Yeah.
And Zach Orr, but I hated Mosley because he was cocky, and Orr was just a blue collar, rip your head off and then run to the sidelines, not even giving high five, no celebrations, just like intense. And I loved him, man. Number 54, there was something about him I just loved. And yeah, seeing him then get to be the first ever Ravens player become an assistant coordinator was cool. And now the first ever Ravens player to be an actual positional coach. I think it's great. I think it's cool. He was there recently. He knows what the city's all about. He knows how the players should act on and off the field. I love the idea. I just think it's I think it's cool. I'm happy for him. And I think there's no better man to replace Mike Macdonald than someone that actually cares about Baltimore and that has actually learned under Mike Macdonald. So
What did you think? If I'm a Washington Commanders fan today, I'm like, oh, here we go again.
what choice did they have though, Tyson? That's the issue. Every other coach backed out. They didn't want the position. That's how sad that situation is. Nobody
Go with a
wanted.
young guy then. Like, I
Yeah,
hate
yeah,
the
that would have
cycle.
been the other option for sure. Dan Quinn would have made me go, bleh. Oh my God, that'd be the
Makes me
worst.
go blah.
But he was the only one that agreed to the second meeting. The only one. They had four
Yeah.
guys. They said, I don't know who the four were. I know Vrabel. They reached out to Vrabel. He said no right aways.
Yeah. Well, they got no quarterback. I mean,
Belichick absolutely didn't show up for an interview. But there were three other guys. I don't know who they were. Maybe like the janitor in the stadium or something. I don't know. But
yeah.
everybody turned down the second interview except for Dan Quinn. So you're in, buddy.
Yeah. I really think the more I think about it, Washington needs to go out, and I don't want them to be good or anything, but if I'm running that organization, they got to pay for Justin Fields or somebody
Yeah,
like that.
I agree. They need a quarterback. Go get one. There is some available. You might have to pay through the teeth, but what does it matter? You'll make that money back in jersey sales and people being excited to come back.
Yeah, or go get that Cincinnati Brown back up
Yeah,
there.
go get Browning.
Like you need
I
something. Oh my God.
totally agree. Now Chicago is in a rough place. I mean, yesterday, again, that stupid bastard Caleb Williams announced I'm not going to be signing in Chicago. And I'm like, man, you privileged little prick. If you go first overall and they have the first pick, don't be Eli Manning. You don't get to do that. I hate that shit. You should have to play there. And if you don't, if you make comments like that, they should be able to sign you in a rookie contract for 7 years and ruin your whole career.
Why would you come out and say that anyways right now? Like
Three times he's done it now. Yesterday was the most recent.
Yeah, well.
Dude, I don't understand the arrogance. Like, you're not just happy to be in the top echelon, the best of the best, get to play in the best league in the world, be treated like a god, he'd be a hero.
Oh,
and
for
no,
sure.
it's not good enough for him. He said, what he said was, I'm good enough to win a Super Bowl in my first 2 years, and I don't think Chicago's there. And I want to win that Super Bowl in my first 2 years.
Good
and
luck.
I was like, do you know what kind of talent there is in the NFL? You want to win in your first 2 years? Good luck, bud. This league ain't easy to win in.
No, you're not Patrick Mahomes.
You're not Patrick Mahomes. Grow up.
And the NFL defenses will eat you alive. Most of them,
especially when they hear a kid talk like that.
Oh yeah,
because those defenses, they don't forget those things. They're like, this is the kid that said he's going to come in and he's going to win immediately. Let's break his jaw, and now those conversations happen. I mean, they're going to run him off the field.
He should play the Ravens because they're not scared to take a roughing the passer penalty.
Not a chance. Go after him, baby.
Should have played Reggie White. So last night, I got to tell you this because you talked about documentaries. So I start watching Bye Bye Barry. Not sure if you've seen it yet or not.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? So I know Barry. I mean, it's the best documentary I've ever seen in my life, ever.
But
there's zero players like him.
I knew how good he was, but it refreshed my memory when they showed clips of him cutting back. Yep. He was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. The best. The very, very best. And he had probably 5 years left in his tank.
Easy.
And no, the very best. And it is not even close. The most humble star athlete in any sport.
I think that's why he's not well liked because not many guys scored touchdowns, handed the ball to the ref.
Every time. Not once, that was his thing. Score a touchdown, make the loop, hand the ball to the ref, straight to the bench. No jumping, no dancing, no twirling, no slamming the ball. Here's the ball. Let's go back to work. I love that man. I
liked the part, maybe most of all, in his rookie season. He could have been the leading rusher.
He said, no, game's over. He sat there and they asked, the crowd was chanting for him to go back out. And he said, I don't care about statistics. I don't care about accolades. Like
Yeah,
give the other guy a chance. He hasn't gotten to play. Like that was
yeah.
his mentality.
He
Dude,
had
I want that guy on my team.
he had a whole quarter to play
Yeah, oh
and
yeah. All they
eight
need was one or
yards.
two plays, one or two carries. Got game
Yeah,
over.
yeah, and he elected not to. So yeah, what a documentary though. I
Great. I love that he told it. So you knew it was truthful.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fantastic.
He's
Um,
on the stage,
his
so
old man is hilarious. Jim Brown is still better, but my son was great. Like I just what a dick.
no, his son was better than Jim Brown, I believe.
But you know, it's I wish there was more like him, Tyson. He's just such a sweet man, a humble man, the
Well,
best of the best. I mean, I don't know another guy in a sport that was
no,
that humble. In any sport. I mean, what a special person. And I wish I could
well,
have grew up watching him like some of my older buddies did.
did like I watched him, and another thing that stood out, he wasn't at the draft
No.
day. He was at home.
Oh, and
He
remember they went
never
to do
went
his
to the
interview
draft.
and he wasn't around for his interview. And it was
Yeah,
Dan Patrick was pissed off.
Dan Patrick actually tracked him down
Yep.
that day. Yeah, but yeah, Barry Sanders did not go to the draft.
No, it's insane, man. It's wild. I
Yeah,
think it's the I think it's the craziest thing ever. Bye Bye Barry is my favorite. If you haven't watched it, I don't care if you're a huge football person or whatnot, but if you love sports and you love rooting for a guy, that's the guy you do it, man. I'm telling you, if I would give up anything to have a player like that on my team. And I felt terrible that he never got to win. I think he deserved it in the worst way. The city of Detroit deserved it. Um,
well, he
and
was
he doesn't care.
involved.
He
Yeah,
doesn't care that he didn't win. That's the coolest part. Like he did what he wanted to do. He made a living. His boys don't even know much about his life. I mean, they asked questions in that interview that
yeah,
like the thing about Barry is you can Google questions and you can't find answers. You can Google a question about Tom Brady, Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid. There's answers all over the internet answering your question. He lived so private, so quiet. There's no answers. There's nothing on him. It's isn't that beautiful? That's crazy.
Barry Sanders, the all-time greatest running back.
Bye bye Barry.
Yeah,
Watch it. It's amazing. And if you want to watch another interview or documentary on a cool sports show, I don't love one of the guys. I only love the other one, but the show Kelsey is very good. It takes you in depth between the Super Bowl, between the Eagles and Chiefs, and Jason's
yeah.
personal life and whatnot. It's another great one just for people to watch that are listening here. It's great to see the behind the scenes of some of these guys.
I always liked NFL films, and I don't know, Inside the NFL, it was called on
Yep,
HBO. That was
yep,
a great program always too.
great program.
Every week they'd do highlights and go over the week's games. That was, and the guy's voice on there just
Yeah,
tremendous.
tremendous. Yeah, the NFL. They had another one too where they did. I think they did 12 players a year, and it was a 50 minutes. I remember it was exactly 50 minutes on all of them because
Yeah,
I used to have it downloaded, and every episode is 50 minutes. I don't remember what it was called, but they picked 12 players every year. They didn't have to be active players, but they like there was a Ray Lewis one, there was an Ed Reed one, there was a Ben Roethlisberger one. I've watched the Tom Brady.
just a career of them.
And yeah, start to finish,
Yeah,
50 minutes,
yeah.
quick. Stop some of their stats, some of their highlights, this and that, but a
Yeah.
lot of their personal life and their training. And there was an Aaron Hernandez one, which was really interesting.
Derek Thomas. I watched Derek Thomas, and
Oh
did you
yeah,
know Derek Thomas has the record for most sacks in a game? Eight.
holy shit.
Eight
That's
sacks in a
insane. Some
game
guys don't get that. Most guys don't get that in a season.
or a career.
Oh yeah. Well, you and me, our career share getting no 8 sacks, but that's amazing.
Yeah, that is a
Holy.
number that I don't think it'll ever be broke. Eight.
No, not by one guy. That's a
No.
record for a team.
Yeah, yeah. He was just a beast, and unfortunately, he's not with us today. He was killed in
Yeah.
a car accident, right? And
That would have been a man among men.
oh yeah, number 58. Like I remember him as a
Wow.
Chief. He was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Wow. Another funny story, which you'll appreciate this. Obviously, we all know Henry Ruggs, who was an up and coming star, got in a drunk driving accident and killed somebody a couple years back for the
Yeah.
Las Vegas Raiders. He's now making $2.50 recycling license plates in prison. Read that this morning. He's one of the highest earners per day in the prison, and he's working hard. And they said he's being paid $2.50 an hour. Wow, how the tides can turn quickly for a young athlete that just needs some guidance. It's you give all
Speaking
these
of
kids this huge money, and
speaking of license plates in prison, was watching last night on the news the 5 players, if they are proven to be guilty
yep.
with a sexual assault like that, 10 years. 10 years.
Oh,
So
that's
can you
nothing. That's no
imagine
joke.
those 5 guys going to jail for 10 years? And actually the McLeod kid is facing the most charges.
Really?
He's got 2 separate ones. Yes.
Oh, see, and me, I talked to Stefan Meyer yesterday, and we assumed it would have been the one that fled to Europe like 2 or 3 years ago that just left the scene and went over to Finland or whatever and started playing.
Fermenting.
Yes, we
Fermenting.
assumed just because he abandoned ship quickly and without question, we assumed maybe he had the most and was just fleeing the scene, but
Yeah.
obviously not.
Well, they haven't announced everybody's charges yet, so we do
Okay,
not know that. But it sounds like the McLeod kid
that's two different ones.
was involved both times, whether he had, sexual relations with her first and then
Goodness
got the buddies
gracious.
to come down after or
Yep.
whatever. But there's 2 different things going on there, so we
Wow.
should see. And I think there's court on Monday in London.
Okay.
London, Ontario. So we'll see. It's gonna get
Oh man.
crazy.
I know it's something for us to talk about and whatnot, but it's so disgusting. It's terrible.
I
My
hate
heart goes
talking
out to
about it.
the what's that?
I hate talking about it because it's
I know it's one of those
horrible.
things where it's like we don't know if it happened or not, right? But like, so we got these guys who are facing the rest of their life, really. That's the end of their life. They're not going
Yeah.
to get a job with a sexual assault charge afterwards,
No.
and they're going to get 10 years in prison if they get charged guilty. And if they're innocent, that ruins their career anyways.
Yeah, yeah, that follows them forever.
Well, they said
And
the court will not make a final decision till at least after 2026. You take 2 years off of hockey, you're done. Their career's over. So, I mean,
I
I don't,
wonder,
like I said, I worded it yesterday. I hope that they are guilty if this is going to come out because it would be terrible to ruin their career. So, yeah, yesterday they announced like the final decision will not be made till probably summer of 2026.
yeah,
Is
we'll see if there's some kind of settlement or something on a lesser
big.
charge.
That would
Or
be the only way would be, but the other party would have to. And the fact that the other party was already paid 3.5 million though, and
yeah,
it's still coming back, I don't think there's going to be a settlement. If
but
3.5 million wasn't enough,
no, no, and that wasn't by those individuals. That was by Hockey Canada.
Hockey Canada paid that off. That's
Yes,
the worst
swept
part of
that
all of
under
it.
the rug. And actually, when it came out that they had done that, Hockey Canada, and fired a lot of their board, I didn't really know the whole situation. This is bringing whole new light to the situation there. And
Yep.
actually, the Hockey Canada logo makes me sick at this point.
I know. Agreed. Agreed, man. I'm not proud to be Hockey Canada right now. That's for darn sure.
No, no. And Hockey Canada is the one overseeing our kids.
That's the umbrella.
Best interest. That's the umbrella. And you're like, are you serious? Yeah, this is our supervisor creating all the rules, and they did
That's
this.
like a dad being a wife beater and a drug abuser and physical and just a shisty guy, a cheater, a liar, and then you're expecting his kids to be perfect and good-hearted and honest and good workers and not abuse their families that they're about to have. It doesn't work that way. When the figurehead is a piece of shit runs downhill. And you create children that are shitty. And then we get mad at the children because that's who we know, but it really all started up there. Well, when your figurehead of Hockey Canada is run like that, no wonder Toronto was having such issues with, all the legalities in their junior hockey programs and all their minor hockey. Well, when Daddy Bear up there is doing the same thing on a bigger scale, let's be honest.
Yeah, and that actually is another scandal that has gone on with the in Toronto, the hockey league there, where guys are financially paying the teams off to pick their kids, and that's a whole nother scandal in hockey that hasn't
all
come.
under Hockey Canada, though.
Yeah, crazy. But
and
I mentioned it to Peyton. He has no chance because his dad was shitty, so he'll amount to anything.
They're getting in there.
Josh told me this morning, Peyton, you have no hope.
Yeah, I never said that, Peyton. Get in there, buddy. Go be the one percenter and just make them love you.
Oh, yeah, that's
Um,
funny.
I mean, and they announced yesterday the 5 teams have officially signed in the BCHL. So I don't know when they get to start playing, but that came out yesterday. The BCHL welcomed them in and had a big gala for them and everything at some place in BC. I don't know, but I was
I
reading
think
it.
they will play amongst themselves already. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, that we knew.
I
But
don't
what
know
about
how they will.
are they in that league yet or not? Does that happen
They
next?
are in. They're in the East Division of that league. But how do
How do you
you
work it? When do
how
they
do you
play the
work?
other teams? Because now you'd have to add games.
Yeah, how do you rework a
So
schedule?
they
I don't
never
think you
talked about
can.
that. In what I read, they never talked about that. They just said we're welcoming effective February 2nd. They are a
Yeah,
part of the BCHL, yada
yeah.
yada yada.
That is so they can play and they have insurance and all that.
Gotcha. Under that umbrella.
Under that umbrella, I don't think moving forward, like they can have their own division probably, and maybe they can get into the playoffs that way. I don't know how they'll
Yep.
do that, but to redo the schedule at this point,
I know. That's what I mean. That can't be doable, Ken. I mean, you're right. I think the best thing would be to have them play off. If they got to play 8 games each or 5 or 6,
yeah,
get them done. And then wherever you sit, you enter playoffs in your position, and then you're in.
yeah,
Then you'll play
yeah,
the BC teams and yada yada. Next year, a whole schedule.
yeah, exactly. So they could be thrown in as kind of a wild card into each pool. I
Yeah,
don't know how the BCHL works. I'm going
me,
to do
me
a little
neither.
digging this weekend though to see what teams are
I
involved and how the
also
playoffs work.
didn't know that that is the most competitive junior hockey league in Canada. I didn't know that.
Yes, next to WHL.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
No, I'm not putting it in that category. In the
Yeah,
A category, that's the best of the best. I didn't realize that.
yes, yes. They send the most kids to NCAA by a
Wow.
landslide.
Really?
Yeah, by a
Wow.
landslide.
And a big congratulations, player of the month, Gavin McKenna in the WHL. Read it this morning.
Yes,
That's pretty impressive.
16 years old, player of the month.
What did he have? 12 games and 29 points or something like that? It was
Yeah,
absurd. It was a lot.
yeah, it's absurd, and he's hitting his stride. Wait till next year. Like really, wait till next year. If you don't have your season tickets now, get them because
Yeah, I
the
agree.
Tigers are going to be unbelievable. Good morning there, Parks. How's it going?
Tired.
Tired. Well, wait
You
till
just
tomorrow. He's
you
got to
come
be up
on
at
it.
2:30 tomorrow to make it to the
Oh,
airport.
really?
So
Oh my goodness. You've come on the show just at the right time. We were just going to get into the Oilers win streak. So
no, we weren't. The only thing that the Oilers and a streak has in common is the color brown.
aren't you happy that you switched
I
over
think
to
you're
the
looking
Oilers?
in your underpants.
I think he does too. Like they probably say it's probably a winner brand. And he's like, oh my God.
Oh, look! Oh, you're hilarious! You're friggin' hilarious, idiots!
Brown streak called winner.
Before we get into the Oilers dominating, which I think maybe I'll just turn off the camera for that one. I read a thing this morning as well, which I thought was, I mean, it's cool, it's amazing, but like they talked about all 3 of Iginla's kids effective last night statistically, and the one is playing in Seattle. And
There's Tej, I think.
yeah, Tej and Joe, I think, or
Yeah,
something. And
yeah.
Tej is averaging 1.4 points a game, but then Joe is playing U15 AAA, and he's got 60 games in and over 149 points, leading the league, like just dominating. And then
Yeah.
his daughter plays NCAA, and in 19 games has 20 some points, 27. Like
Suppose
they're all the top player on their own team. I'm like, that's amazing. Good for you. I've always been a Jerome McGinley fan. He was a great guy. Good guy off the field, off the ice, on the
Well, he
ice.
is from Edmonton, so we knew he'd be a pretty.
Yeah, that's right, of course, right? City of Champions, obviously. But I thought that was pretty cool that he raised 3 kids and they're following in his footsteps. I think it's the coolest thing.
Yeah, and the daughter is supposedly the best hockey player of all 3.
Really?
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep.
Crazy.
It is crazy. So we'll
exciting.
See. And I mean, the name is giving them opportunity as well.
Oh, absolutely. It's giving them looks, putting them on the right lines, all that. They'll have the best training. You bet.
Yeah, I do want to see when Iginla does come to Medicine Hat some point down the road.
Yeah, I'd like to go watch.
Yeah, and check that out and see how he compares to a Gavin McKenna.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably a little bit of a gap there, but
oh yeah. Well, it's so strange. You get into this and all these great athletes, who dominate the game. Very seldom do they have a child that is anywhere
Dominates like them.
close.
Yeah.
Never has happened. I don't know of anyone.
I don't know. I don't know of any.
Like
I'm
they're
thinking of
good.
lots of guys that have kids that played and whatnot, but maybe the Kachucks are as close as it gets, but even him, Keith Kachuk was a stud.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I like Matthew and Brady, and I think they're great hockey players, but I don't know if they were as good as him. Maybe I didn't grow up watching him, but I look at his stats, but that might be really the closest one to me.
Yeah, like the Sutters really never.
No, they're
None of
good.
their
They're good hockey players, good third line
yeah,
boys, you know.
yeah. Ray Bork's son really never
Rene was okay. Yeah, he was all right.
there just wasn't there isn't.
I
It
don't
just
think
does
there
not
is. I think
happen.
the Kachucks would be the only ones that are close to it. Yeah.
Although that's hockey. Now you go to football, and Marvin
Yep.
Harrison was a
Yep.
tremendous receiver. And
Yep.
his kid, I don't know if you've seen the video. I put it on Fans Perspective Instagram the other day.
Well, I watched him all year. So
But did you see the video where they have the football machine throw a ball and he just run a straight line and he would not look at the ball? It was set for 50 yards or whatever, and it would airball it and it would not look at the ball, and he just run looking ahead, and all of a sudden he'd put his arms out at the 50-yard line and catch it.
no, I did not see that. That's
It
crazy.
is insane. Like
That is
he
insane.
is going to be a treat to watch. And man, would I love to see him go to the LA Chargers, to Justin Herbert's team.
Yeah, I would. A guy that can sling it. But the problem is, I'm pretty sure the Bears are going to take both of him and Caleb Williams. Whether
He
Caleb
won't be around by the time the Bears pick the second time. There is no way.
because what are they, first and seventh?
Yeah, yeah.
First and
Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to go like third.
Yeah. Who's second overall?
Oh gosh.
NFL 20. It'd be called the 2024 draft, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's
It's
find out.
gotta be
Let's find out because that's probably where he's going.
Atlanta has to be very close.
Chicago, Washington.
Oh, they need a quarterback though. They can't pick a receiver.
Yeah, they're predicting they take a quarterback in Drake May.
Yeah.
And then third pick is New England Patriots. They're saying they're going to take quarterback, and it's the Arizona Cardinals that they predict.
Oh, yes.
Number 4 that's going to take Harrison.
Well, maybe the Eagles can slide in there, trade up, send I don't know whoever for that pick.
That would be amazing. Are the Eagles anywhere? No, they're not near.
No. The Eagles are at the bottom end. But as a team, you got to look at that situation. If
Absolutely,
if that's your need, it's not a need for Philadelphia, of course, but
yeah, no, it's not. I'm just trying to think who else. Yeah, shit.
man, like where does Cincinnati draft there? Because Cincinnati is going to lose that Boyd kid.
18th, not till 18th.
Oh, geez, they're too high too.
Chargers are 5th though.
Chargers. Let's
chance that he's available. You never know.
Yeah, I would love to see him go to the Chargers. I kind of like the Chargers because they got kind of the rider disease too, where they just
they have
get over the hump.
They have, man. I have more faith in their team though, but I like Jim Harbaugh. I think it's going to be okay. I think that's going to be okay. He's
I love what he said yesterday in the interview. Don't let the powder blue color fool you. We're going to play hard-nosed football. Yeah.
Such an idiot.
Oh, but
yeah, man. So Chicago is not 7th either. They're 1st and 9th.
Okay. So he's going. I hope he goes. Man, would I love to see him in the Chargers uniform.
Yeah, he'd have to fall to 5th. He'd have to fall to 5th, which could happen with all the guys needing quarterbacks. It could happen.
I'm an Eagles guy, of course, but I'm also an NFL fan, so I love watching players. And
I want to see him in the right spots. I want to see a player excel. I don't want to see a player's career ruined because of where he had to go.
No, but I mean, in all fairness, Arizona had probably some of the greatest receivers. Anquan Bolden, Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Zach Ertz was a great tight end when he was in his prime.
Yeah. Although it would be kind of cool if Indianapolis, not sure where they picked, if they could slide in there and somehow get Marvin Harrison.
They're
Jr.
back at 15th.
Oh, yeah, that's too high. They're never getting it.
Yeah, they're 15.
Unless they trade up, like offer a 1 for, excuse
Yeah,
me,
they'd have to do that. They would have
plus
to
their
do that.
pick. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, anything can happen, right? That's the best
Yeah.
part. You look at this like, oh no, never gonna happen. And all of a sudden they make a great deal. You can have our receiver in this and our first round next year, and we want your pick. And all of a sudden, bam, they're right in there. And now they might get their guy.
Yeah, it can happen. Can happen. I mean, look at the Ravens this year, for example. They're usually not a playoff team, and they made it finally.
Yeah, it can happen to anybody. It can happen to the Ravens. It can happen to anybody.
Oh,
The Ravens always make the playoffs. They just don't win once they get there.
Hey, by the way, I gotta cover this because I know you're a huge Baltimore Orioles fan too.
Yes.
And they made a big trade yesterday with Milwaukee getting in a starting pitcher, a stud from Milwaukee Brewers.
I mean, we finally have new ownership. We got money. We can spend money. We've never been able to spend money before.
No.
Immediately, the day
I don't
after
know.
they announced new ownership, it's like, woo!
I don't know how you can spend any money after you pay 1.7 billion for a team, but yes.
Apparently they got more money than I and you.
Well, they're going to have lots of money. That is a good thing for a Baltimore Orioles fan. No question.
Yes, it is. And then I don't know baseball at all. I just chose them just to piss you off. But now I'm stuck. Like I told you, when you start cheering for a team, you think I want to be a Flames fan anymore? No, but that's my team for life, baby. Ride or die. And right now we're dying, but that's okay. We're finally making the moves we want to make. I think the return on Lindholm, now that I think about it, is absurd. I don't think there was a better play out there for the Flames.
No, there was not.
To get a first, a player, and then 2 players up and coming,
prospects,
plus a 4th round, which could turn into a 3rd round if they win the first round of the playoffs. Like, we got that for Lindholm, who wasn't going to be there in 3 months or 4 months anyways.
Yeah, there's nobody was offering other than Vancouver, and that is almost a desperate trade, if you ask me.
It is. I mean, I don't understand. Does Vancouver literally think he's Draisaitl? Like, because this doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I'm happy for Lindholm. It makes him probably feel great that he got this much for his value. Yeah. But I think the Canucks fan base got shysted on that one.
And you're gonna move on from Tanev yet for sure.
Yep.
And Noah Hannafin. So those are two guys. And
and maybe Markstrom. Like I said, I hope someone does put an offer on the table we can't refuse. Because like I said, I love Markstrom this year. I think he's the only reason we've been close. But at the same time, being close doesn't get us anywhere. So I'm totally fine. Going with the young direction.
Things will change because once you start offloading a guy like Lindholm, then the other players who are ultra competitive can see that, okay, this is the direction we're going. Yeah. I can go to the team and say, yes, I will move on if you want
they know the direction now. We finally have a direction. Craig Conroy, with that trade, kind of said, okay, this is where we're moving. Finally. And I love it. Let's go. Let's make another trade this weekend. Before I land in Hawaii, I want to see someone else moved. I want more picks and another prospect. Let's go.
Did you watch last night the NHL All-Star Game draft? They actually drafted players. That was kind of interesting.
No, I didn't.
Like, so McDavid and Draisaitl were captains on one team. And I was like, okay, they got to pick the players.
That's cool.
So everybody else was in a pool other than the captains, and then the captains were the GM and got to pick who they
who was first overall. Obviously, those guys weren't involved, but
kind of like kids in the playground where you had 2 sides and you'd pick. Oh yeah, I'll take Johnny, and I'll take Bobby, and
So who went first overall?
Oh, that I can't tell you. Tell you because I only seen the highlights of them picking. So
gotcha.
I didn't know it was even a thing.
I've never heard of it. I think it's really cool. It's like kids hockey. We used to do that. Now we do the tossing of the sticks, of course,
which can be crooked as hell. Let's be honest with you.
I'm still crooked as hell. Make sure your eyes are closed, Josh. And you're like, I can't see any sticks. And I'm like, me, Freddie, Mikey. Then you got the handicap kid, the kid that's got 4 sets of glasses, and the goalie that wears his pads on the wrong legs. Oh, look at this. We're stacked again. I don't understand.
Everybody knows what their buddy's stick looks like.
That's
exactly all I can say.
Are you kidding? I could tell by the grip whose was which. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. His eyes are closed, guys. And I'm like feeling the grip, flexing it. I'm like, yep, that one's mine. Nope.
The good old days of shinny hockey at the pond, I tell you.
I remember when I used to pick as well, I always wanted Rolling Dice on my team because he's just a tank.
Yeah.
And holy shit, just touch the stick from this side to this side. That one's definitely Roland's. It's twice as long as anyone else's.
Yeah,
So
well,
you knew immediately.
he's the only guy who has a 7-foot stick. Like,
Like it was a no-brainer. I love being told I'm the one that gets the pick. I was like, oh, I got this in the bag.
you didn't screw up though and throw your stick in the opposite side.
No, I was the goalie. I already had a crease picked. Yeah, they don't get to pick me. Yeah. And Tyler Stanky, I remember we used to play him. Funny story. He was the only guy in town that ever had a grip stick. He had a synergy grip. Everyone else had just the silver synergies. He had the yellow grip and the green grip. Of course, he always had something different. Tyler was just Tyler. Yeah. So I mean, when you're tossing sticks, you knew who got Tyler. It's like, oh, there we go. We want Tyler on our team. He's going to this side. Like, it's
actually, Peyton loves the grip. The sticks are all grippy now.
Almost all of them. Yeah. And I mean, just think of it. You're more stable in your wrist, everything. It makes sense. Grip is the only way to go. Some like it more grippy. There are sticks that are grippier. Yeah. But like the fact that back in the day, they were like butter. Some of them were so slippery. It's like, who in their right mind would want their stick slipping in their hands?
Well, I think that's why their snapshots have gotten so good now.
Agreed.
They got that grip, and I don't know if you pay attention in minor hockey. There's very few slap shots now. It's all snapshots. Like
as it should be. It takes 45 seconds to get off a slap shot. What kid should be rocking one of those?
Yeah, but now the kids are all snapping it, and man, there's some good shots out there.
You got to remember when I worked at Sports Connection, we were told once you hit bantam and midget, you should have a 90 flex. No, you should have a 50 flex. And learn your snapshot. You use the stick to its advantage. The kick point is about 6 inches lower than it used to be. So where that flick and whip comes off is way lower. So it's way more a controlled and hard snap. But if you, like the average midget kid can't even flex a 90 to 110 flex stick properly.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a slap shot guy, a monster, yes, stiffer stick.
Yeah.
But for a snapshot, which is what 99% of these kids should be learning, and just leverage snapshots, close body, that leverage shot, which every kid should be learning. The flex should be absurd. Like I got Parker on a 30. A lot of his kids are on 50 and 60. I'm like, he weighs 58 pounds. You're getting a 30. And his shot has gotten 100 times better. He's scoring goals all the time now. Yeah. And before it was because the stick was too stiff for him. Yeah. And then you cut some off right? These kids are short. Now it's even stiffer. That ain't a 90 flex. Now it's a 105 because you took 8 inches off.
Oh, God, I had a 200 flex then. Because...
you and me, Tyson? We were using pieces of 2x4. Let's be honest.
I actually use Peyton's stick when he breaks them. If they break in the right spot, it's just cut off perfectly.
But yeah, the technology in the sticks, the grip, all that stuff. Yeah, there's actual science to that shit. And it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. So briefly before we end the show, when are you heading out? You're heading to Hawaii.
I work today. So after we get off the call here, I'm going to load up the camera and the computer and everything for you, and I'll take it to the office.
Yeah, I'll be there this afternoon.
There's a gift there for Kendall as well. I'll set on top. Lily made her a Christmas gift, but we never got to see her.
Okay,
so I'll put that on top. That's for Kendall. It says her name on it, so you can't miss it.
I'm going to take it. I'm taking it.
Yeah, you can have it. I think it's like some bow ties for your hair that you don't have, so we should be good.
Oh, well, that would fit. That would fit.
And then I'll work this morning, and then at lunch I'll go get the mail, do the bank run, come back. If there's anything in the mail that's pertinent, I'll stay and finish it. If not, drop it off, say sayonara to Dawn, and I'll head to Medicine Hat, where my family is leaving this morning to already. Yeah, they got to get some odds and ends for the trip, some little stuff at Walmart for traveling, and so they're going up separately. So I'll meet them probably between 1 and 2 Alberta time, and then drop the car off at the in-laws, hop in the truck, everybody, and Megan's mom's going to hop in with us. Then we'll make our way to Calgary, hopefully be to Calgary by like 6 tonight for supper. And then we got to be at the airport before 4 tomorrow morning because we fly out at 6 a.m. So
right on. Well, you have yourself a wonderful trip, man.
Yeah, and we'll do a session. Like I said, we'll make a call and see if it works from the resort in Hawaii. I called my buddy yesterday who runs my phones for me and everything up there at Backyard Grills. He runs the TELUS place. And he said, I've got full everything. My package is good anywhere in the States, including Hawaii. So I'll be fully on. So we'll be able to, we can review maybe maybe there's some action that comes out of the playoffs for the NFL Super Bowl. Maybe some story pops
there'll
up.
be some
We should be able to
storyline.
discuss it. Yeah.
Yeah, you betcha. Well, we'll do that and have a wonderful trip. And like I said, Wednesday night I got an ag show going on.
Yeah.
So do
And
that.
if I'm available, I'll like text me before it starts because I don't know the time change is like 4 hours. But then at
Okay.
least I can tune in if you
Yeah.
throw it up on the YouTube.
Well, it is going to be 8 o'clock Saskatchewan time. That I know already. So
I think that's like 4 o'clock Hawaiian time. So text me before just because I don't know the exact time
sounds
change.
good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Throw me a text, say, hey, we're going to start the show if you want to watch. And then if I'm in the room, at least
Yeah.
I can do that. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We'll get that done. And yeah, have a great time. We'll be back on our morning show, not next week, following week.
The day after the Super Bowl.
Day after the Super Bowl with lots of talk. So
Go Niners.
Chiefs are winning. Sorry to tell
I
you.
know they are. I know it's terrible. The Go Niners, anyways. For the love of God, if there is a football god out there, give me a Niners win.
We'll see what happens. It's going to get interesting.
Yeah, it'll be good.
You bet. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. And once again, join us Wednesday night for an ag show with Blair Baylog of Stamp Seeds. And also next week, we'll be putting up, we're going to have an interview with Josh sometime from Hawaii.
In a
And
Speedo.
then I am working on, because our good buddy from Riders signed, we're going to get Sean Bain back on the show.
Absolutely.
Excited for that. So that'll be a couple weeks down the road.
Bain's World.
You betcha. Well, we'll catch you a little later on when I come get the computer.
Perfect. I'll have it ready.
All right. Thanks a lot.